So when we start the communication with the people which is related to IT, so usually we used to have the words like front end and
Back end.
back end. So what is the front end? So any GUI. GUI stands for graphical user interface. Any graphical user interface is a front end.
Okay.
These are also called as client application. Best example for the GUI is the Notepad application. In the Notepad, I do have the file ribbon, edit, format. Again, I'm selecting the font option from the format. I'll be getting the GUI. So in this application, we have the labels, text controls, list boxes, combo box, and command buttons. I'm using this application, this GUI, to change the font style in the Notepad. I'm not able to store any kind of information here. This kind of the interfaces can be developed by any programming language. Here we do have so many programming languages like C, C++, Java, .NET. So any programming language, any application program. So any application program we use to develop the graphical user interface like C, C++, Java, .NET, Visual Basic, C#, any programming language we use to developing the graphical user interface.
Okay.
Even people are perfect in developing the application part, we used to have the server to maintain the data. Kavya, are you getting my screen?
Yeah, I am able to see your screen.
Okay. So front end is any graphical user interface is a front end. That GUI can be developed by any programming language. Here we do have so many programming languages like C, C++, Java, .NET, Visual Basic, C#, anything. Even people are perfect in developing the application part using any programming language. So end of the day, we require to have the server to maintain the data. The server application is backend. Like for example, here I'm trying to creating the email account in the Google or Yahoo or Ready. What we do generally, we used to give all the information in the text controls option button checkboxes. Finally, we click on the submit button. When we click on the submit button, all the information which are given, so is going to store into the server. Then only it is possible to log in into the page, composing the mails, right? So that environment look like this here. See, this is the, let us assume that this is the application part. Graphical user interface. So here I'm using this interface to enter the data, to fill the information. Finally, we click on the submit button. Once we click on the submit button, all the information comes to the database. And whenever we require to represent something, I can fetching the data from the database and representing into graphical user interface. So for every client application, we require to have the server application. That server application is the backend. Any database is a backend tool. The purpose of database is storage and retrieving. Retrieving in the sense fetching, getting back. In the database word, what is meant by data? Data in the sense, the collection of information or raw information about a particular object is called a data. Like X is the person. Here I'm collecting the information about the person called X. Next, I'm planning to meet him. Where should I meet? How to explain the things to X? How can I get the result from X? That planning, that sketch, that process is called as the database. In simple words, we say information gathering about a particular object is called a data, and processing of data is called as the database. For example, here I'm having some water in the bucket. To drill down some water from the bucket, to pull the water into the bucket, here I'm using the mug or bottle. This mug or bottle is a query. Query in the sense statement like insert or update or delete. For what? To access the data, to manipulate the data. This collection of data is called as the database. Another example. So here we are carrying the mobile. In the mobile, we have the contact details. If I want to get some particular number, here I'm searching for the contact number with the help of the first letter of the name. I used to write the select query to get the contact details. I used to write a query to add the contact details, modifying the contact details, removing the contact details. So this kind of the processing is called the database. In other words, in detail, the collection of interrelated data. What is meant by interrelated data? If I'm taking the employee information, in the employee information, we do have the employee number, employee name, job, salary, and department number. All are interrelated data elements. The collection of interrelated data and a set of programs. Set of programs, since I'm not writing any program like C, C++, Java.NET. Just I'm writing the queries like insert or update or delete. For what? For what? To access the data, to manipulate the data. This collection of data is called as the database. Purpose of database is storage and retrieving. Purpose of database is storage and retrieving. So far everything is clear, right, Kavya?
Yeah.
Here we do have the two kinds of the database packages called the DBMS and RDBMS. DBMS stands for the Database Management System. These are all helps to maintain the small scale data, to do some calculations, to analyzing the data, what are the DBMS packages we have? The DBMS packages are Excel, Access, DBS 3 plus, Lotus 123, all are DBMS packages. In any DBMS package, data will be stored in terms of files only, like Excel file, Access file, DBS file, like this. To maintain the huge amount of information, to organizing the data, to have the client server environment, two-tier architecture, then we go for RDBMS. RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management System. It's supposed to maintain medium to large scale data. We are organizing the data and it supports one-to-one relationship, one server, one client, one-to-many relationship, one server, many clients, many-to-many relationship, many servers, many clients. When I'm working on the server, it is one-to-one, one server, one client. When I'm working on the server and clients, one server, many clients, one-to-many. When I'm working on more than one server, it comes to many-to-many, many servers, many clients. So like this here. This is server and clients, client machines. This is also one server. These are the client machines. So only server, it is one-to-one. Server and clients, it is one-to-many. More than one server, it comes to many-to-many. Many servers, many clients. This kind of the client server environment is not there in the DBMS packages.
Okay.
So what are the RDBMS packages? Here we have like Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, DB2, all are RDBMS packages. In any RDBMS package, data will be stored in terms of tables only. So which having the collection of rows and columns. Collection of rows is called as the tuples. Collection of rows is called as tuples, like this here. In any RDBMS package, the data will be stored in terms of the table only, which having the collection of rows and columns. Collection of rows is called as the tuples. Now, so here I'm trying to start with the SQL Server. Here I'm working with the SQL Server for what? To creating our own database and creating the database objects. This is called one database here. In this database, here I'm placing the objects like tables, views, synonyms. These are all the database objects. Hence, tables, views, synonyms, procedures, functions. These are all the database objects here. So to creating our own databases and creating the database objects, first of all, I should connect to the server. I should establish the connection to the server. Then only it is possible to creating our own databases and creating the database objects and working with all the data. Friends, so to connecting to the server, so here we do have the two authentications here. The SQL Server is one of the RDBMS. The SQL Server owned by the Microsoft. So here, while connecting to the server, here we do have the two authentication modes. One is the Windows authentication, it's the default authentication. And another one is SQL Server authentication. SQL Server authentication. So while connecting to the server, so here I should establish the connection to the server, then only it is possible to creating the databases and creating the database objects like tables, views, synonyms, procedures, functions, and triggers, and handling the data. Friends, otherwise, even if I open the SQL Server, the screen look like this here, empty. So here I'm trying to establish the connection to the server. Here we do have the two authentications. One is the Windows authentication, another one is SQL Server authentication. Windows authentication is the default authentication. Here, not required to give the username and password. When I'm connecting to the server using the Windows authentication, I do have the privilege to access entire system level information and server level settings. Whereas in SQL Server authentication, we require to give the username and password that all user accounts will be creating by the administrator. When I'm connecting to the server using the SQL Server authentication, we do have the privilege to access only the permitted data. Default authentication is the Windows authentication. The default authentication is the Windows authentication. Friends, so here not required to give the username and password. We can use the Windows domain details to connecting to the server. Here we do have the privilege to access the entire system level information and server level settings. Whereas in SQL Server authentication, we require to give the username and password. Here we do have the privilege to access only the permitted data. As I said, even we perfect in developing the application part using any programming language, we require to have any server, any one of the server to maintain the data, the database server. Not only for maintaining, whenever we require to represent something to the GUI. So here I'm fetching the data from the database. So all GUIs are all front-end tools are client application and back-end tools are server application. And in that process here I'm working with the SQL Server. SQL Server is one of the RDBMS. SQL Server owned by the Microsoft. Here I'm trying to establish the connection to the server. In that process here we do have the two authentications. One is the Windows authentication. The another one is the SQL Server authentication. Windows authentication is the default authentication. You're not required to give the username and password. The SQL Server authentication required to give the credentials. Those credentials can be created by the administrator. Here we do have the privilege to access only the permitted data. The default authentication is the Windows authentication. After selecting the authentication, here I am selecting the server type. The default server type is showing the database engine. It helps to creating our own databases and creating the database objects like tables, views, synonyms, and working with all the data. The rest of the server types is analysis services to build the data warehouse concept, to analyzing the historical information, and reporting services, generating the reports to end user. What we have the information in the database, that information I'm representing into graphical user interface. Integration services, importing and exporting the data from the other sources. Like in the Excel, I do have some information, not only Excel, in the Excel text file, CSV file, anything. So here I'm moving the data from the Excel to SQL, SQL to Excel. So importing and exporting, or in simple words, I can say transforming the data from the other sources. The default server type, it is the database engine, and default authentication is the Windows authentication. Friends, here different server types here we have. One is the database engine. It helps to creating the databases and creating the database objects and working with all the data. Analysis services to build the data warehouse concept, to analyzing the historical information. Integration services. Integration services, importing and exporting the data from the other sources. In simple words, we say transforming the data from the other sources. And reporting services, so generating the reports to end user. To work on these services, here I do have the tools. The tools are SQL Server Management Studio, which helps to working with database engine services. Business Intelligence Development Studio, which helps to working with analysis services, integration services, and reporting services. The SQL Server Configuration Manager, checking the services information. Performance tools is SQL Server Profiler and DTA, Database Engine Tuning Advisor. Of course, most probably we used to work with the SQL Server Management Studio. Go to Start button, all programs, select Microsoft SQL Server, then SQL Server Management Studio. Here itself, I'm selecting the Windows authentication. and server type is the database engine. So here I'm connecting to the server. I'm connecting to the server here. So for this one here, I'm using the Windows authentication to connecting to what? So database engine services, to creating our own databases and creating the database objects and working with all the data. In the management studio itself, here I'm selecting the Windows authentication and database engine services, then click on the connect. Once we establish the connection to the server, in the Object Explorer here, we do have the databases, security, server objects, replication, management, and SQL Server agent. So we navigate the databases. Here we have the system databases, database snapshots, and user-defined databases. These are all user-defined databases we created of its own. Each database, we have the hierarchy like tables, views, synonyms, procedures, functions, triggers. These are all the database objects. For what? To maintain the data, to handling the data. Friends, so far everything is clear, right, Kavya?
Yeah, everything is clear.
So in the Object Explorer, here we do have the databases. Under the databases, we are having the system databases, database snapshots, user-defined databases. Each database, we have the hierarchy like tables, views, synonyms. So programmability. Under the programmability, we have the stored procedures, functions, triggers, database level security. Here itself, we have the schemas and users, system level security, that is logins, server objects, replication, management, and SQL Server agent. System databases will get loaded automatically when we install the SQL Server into the machine. The system databases helps to working on system level information and server level settings. Your system databases are master. It helps to creating the logins and working with all the server level settings. And model database helps to working on the templates. Once we create the new database, then model database will get filled automatically. MSDB database so helps to working on automation jobs like backup, restores, maintenance plans. TempDB database helps to working on temporary databases. System databases will get loaded automatically when we install the SQL Server into a machine. System databases are master, model, MSDB, and TempDB. Master database helps to creating the logins and working with all the server level settings. Model database helps to working on the templates. Once we create the new database, then model database will get filled automatically. MSDB database helps to working on the automation jobs like backup, restores, maintenance plans. TempDB database helps to working on the temporary databases. So here, what are the steps here I'm following to creating my own database is the GUI method. In the Object Explorer, right click on the databases, select the new database. Here, name the database here. This database, where it is going to locate, where we install the SQL Server into the machine, that is the default location of the database. Like C: program files, Microsoft SQL Server, MS SQL, then data folder here. If I want to change the location of the database file, we can change it. Otherwise, the default location is where we install the SQL Server into the machine. That is the default location of the database. For every database here, we have the file group called primary data file and transaction log file. Primary data file stores the actual information of the database. Transaction log file records all the transactions what we made to the database. So if the primary data file is get full, then secondary data file will be creating automatically. So once I create the database, then model database will get filled automatically by the system database called model. Friends, here we created the Kavya DB database, then model database will get filled like this: tables, views, synonyms, procedures, functions, triggers, like this. So these are the steps here I'm following to creating our own database. So creating our own database, connect to the database engine. Friends, then the Object Explorer, right click on the databases, then select the new database, then name the database, then click on the OK button. For every database here, I do have the file group called primary data file
and log file.
and log file. So primary data file .mdf is an extension for the primary data file. If the primary data file is get full, then secondary data file will be creating .ndf. New data file is an extension for secondary data file. And transaction log file records all the transactions what we made to the database. .ldf log data file is an extension for transaction log file. Here I can use the language called SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. SQL is a common database programming language used by every RDBMS. SQL is a common database programming language used by every RDBMS. Means SQL is a common language to Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, and DB2. Purpose of SQL is to communicating with the database or to querying the database. How I'm querying the database using the SQL commands. That all SQL commands are classified into data definition language commands like create, creating the databases and creating the database objects. Alter is the command modifying an existing table structure like adding more column to an existing table, removing the column from an existing table, renaming a column, renaming a table. Only the structure level modifications done with the command called alter. And truncate is the command to remove all the rows from an existing table, but table structure will remain for using. Empty table. To remove all the rows from an existing table, but the table structure will remain. When I'm writing the drop, to remove an entire table, including the rows and columns. What are the database objects here? We have to maintain the data. Table is the primary object to maintain the data in terms of rows and columns. Synonyms is an alias name, alternate name for an entire table. Synonyms also act like a table. The view is a stored query or virtual table. View does not have any physical structure like table. View takes the output from the query. So view is called as the stored query or virtual table. Index to improve the performance of the select query. Next, stored procedures, functions, and triggers. How I'm manipulating the data in the database objects using the DML statements. Data manipulation language commands is insert, inserting the rows into an existing table. Update is the command, modifying the rows in an existing table. So delete is the command deleting the rows from an existing table. Data retrieval language command is select. So retrieving the data from an existing table. And DCL command, data control language command. I am giving the control on my object to others so that others can write, insert, update, delete on my table. That can be done by the data control language command called grant, granting all the permissions like insert or update or delete on the object like table or view or synonym to others so that others can write, insert, update, delete on my table. Revoke in the sense reverting, getting back, cancelling all the permissions on the particular object from the others. And transaction control language command is commit to save the transaction, roll back to undo the transaction. Apart from this, so here we practice the select statement with operators, functions, trigger, so functions, clauses, means select statement practicing on more than one table to fetching the data spread across the tables. So here, everything, each and every point is clear, Kavya. So any doubts so far?
No, so far I understood everything.
So here we will practice more into select statement. Then select statement, so practicing with alias name to hide the actual name of the column in a table only at the time of the data retrieving. Distinct class to display the distinct values.
Inner join, outer join.
So I'll list out all the things. Operators, what are the operators here? We have the concatenation operators plus sign, right? And arithmetic operators. So plus, minus, multiplication, division, and relational operators. So like less than, greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, not equal to. Logical operators to write more than one condition at a time. Logical and, or, not, and comparison operators like in, any, all, between, and operator, like operator. Then we'll practice the functions. So with the select statement, that is string functions. String functions are char index, string functions, date functions, aggregate functions, and we practice the clauses, the select statement, from class, where class to retrieving or modifying or deleting the selected rows, group by class to creating the subgroups, having class to restricting the group results to filtering the group results here. Then order by class to arrange the information either in ascending order or descending order. Then case statement. Then so here key function and roll-up function. Then rank function, row number, dense rank, and default keyword is associated with the create table statement, default keyword and identity keywords to generate the unique sequential integer values. And we are writing the rule on a column or a group of column in a table. That set of rules is called as the constraints. The column level constraints. Your column level constraints are domain integrity constraints, that is not null and check constraint. Entity integrity constraints are unique and primary key constraint. I'm writing the rule on a column or a group of column in a table to restricting invalid data entry. Invalid data entry in the sense it may be a duplicate value, it may be a null value. The table level constraint, that is a foreign key. Next, we practice the joins. So retrieving the data spread across the tables. When we require the information from more than one table in the database, we use the joins concept, different types of the joins. The simple join, again, simple join is classified into inner join, the non-equi join, self join, and outer join, left outer join, right outer join, full outer join, and additional join methods is set operators like union, all, intersect. When we do not have any input parameter, then we write the query. That query should be included within the parenthesis. Query within another query is a subquery. Nesting of queries is a subquery. Single row subqueries here. Multiple row subqueries. And correlated subqueries. And we'll discuss about the database objects like synonyms, views, indexes, the normalization, first noun form, second noun form, third noun form. Then so I'll give the project model here. Then we'll start with the programmability. The programmability fundamentals, programming fundamentals, exceptions, cursors, stored procedures, user-defined functions, triggers, trigger on the table, trigger on the view, and CTE, common table expression. Oops. The common table expression, recursive, non-recursive, recursive CTE, non-recursive CTE, index views, that is index views, materialized views, index views, and we'll discuss about the performance tuning of the query and stored procedure. Then again, I'll give the project model for practicing the stored procedures, functions, triggers. Total 2 project models will be providing. And for each and every topic, we'll give the sample queries, and each and every query I'll execute in the environment. I'll show you the output. And for each topic, I used to give some exercise.
Okay.
For more practice. So this is the course outline. Just outline here I've given in the notepad to get the idea. What are the concepts we are going to cover? Friends?
Okay.
So how was the session, Kavya?
So far, good.
And this time is comfortable for you, right?
Can we have any morning sessions if possible?
The morning, what time you are looking?
Morning EST timing, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
10 o'clock is fine for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll discuss, and I'll forward this document to organizer, and he'll
Okay.
forward the text document and recorded session. Then, so hopefully tomorrow we'll start the regular session.
Okay.
So keep this document so to get idea what are the concepts here running, what are the concepts is pending. Okay, so for transparency itself, so here I given all the list of topics, course outline. So you can check across. So what are the concepts is pending, what are the concepts get completed. And as I said, so you can check across so for each and every topic, whether I'm giving the exercise or not. Friends, and you can discuss with me. So any doubts, so in the given exercise. Okay, I'll give the
Okay.
solution for run the solutions. Okay.
Okay.
So thanks for giving the time. So Kavya, so hopefully, so see you tomorrow for regular session. Okay.
Okay. One more question. How much time will be the each session?
So
The
here
duration of
per each day, so 1 hour session is there. Based on the sometimes it will be so 1 hour 20 minutes, 1.5 hours. So and total course duration, so it will be taking the 4 weeks time.
okay.
Okay. And if you are ready to take the session on Saturday, then we will conduct the Monday to Saturday. So otherwise, so as per your feasibility, so Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday. Okay.
Okay.
It's clear?
Yes. I'll contact the person who is in charge with this.
Okay.
And I'll just let them know.
Sure. Okay. See you.
See you. Thank you.